Combat USA, bringing you MMA looking state to state for the top 8 here on Prime Time, putting it all on the line for this one chance, for this one moment to stand up and shine.
Combat USA, we're here to stay. Top 8 to the state. Let 'em try it. Bitch, train real hard. Mixed martial arts, adrenaline pumping. No holds barred. Combat USA, we're here to stay. Top 8 to the state. Let 'em try it. Bitch, train real hard. Mixed martial arts, adrenaline pumping. No holds barred.
Got G's on the table.
Best believe those that are able to stand and show their skill will grab your soul by the root and recruit to the chosen few. To stand up and ground is just what we do. You may think that you're faster, take a deal with the jiu-jitsu master, and it could be a disaster. To untrained technique, this is not for the weak. You get put to sleep if you're not ready for the fight. Stay in stance, cause I've got heavy hands. Best believe I can dance. I've got plans for that ring. I don't care about the blink. I need the championship of it. I need to show the whole world that I love it. Combat USA, we're here to stay. Top 8 to the state.
Welcome to Combat USA. I'm your host, Adam Sandoval, and with me today, the 2010 finalist, Will the Franchise Dickey. Will, how you doing today?
Good, I feel real good. Thanks for having me, Adam. Love Combat USA. It's great to be here.
Well, you were in Combat USA last year. You made it to the state finals. You didn't take home the victory last year, but you're back this year to make some changes and to show where you're really at. But now there's some changes, and that's from 205 last year down to 85 this year. What do you think about that change?
Yeah, like I said, I'm at 205. I made it to the top, made it to number 1. But I definitely feel that 185 is a better fit for me. People are skeptical, but as they see me progress in my weight cut, they're looking at my body and how my body is developing, and along with me, I definitely think 185 is my home. So I'm very excited to fight at 185.
I gotta agree, man. I think you look much more comfortable in your skin at 185 pounds. I'm excited to see you fight at 185 pounds.
I'm very excited to fight at 185.
How big of a difference do you think it's going to play with you competing against your opponents that are now going to be at 185 pounds instead of 205 pounds?
It's
going to feel that stronger?
Oh, I'm gonna feel definitely stronger. Like I always looked at myself as a smaller 205 pounder. I never really liked cutting weight, so when I fought 205, unlike my opponents, I cut down usually from 208 to 205 when my opponents were cutting down from 230. So I feel at 185 I'll be bigger, stronger, faster, lighter on my feet, be able to throw people around a little bit more. So I'm very excited. 185 is definitely my home. So
that's cool, man. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about your journey last year and what you're going to do this year a little bit later on in the show. Let's get it started, though, talking about March 5th, Oneida Casino, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Great venue. Oneida, I say it over and over again, and I'll continue to say it forever. They take care of all of us. They take care of Combat USA. They take care of the fighters. Don't have enough good things I can say about them, but they are definitely leading the state in mixed martial arts. There's not another casino or venue around that does more in the mixed martial arts community than Oneida Casino.
I'd have to agree with you, Adam. I love fighting at Oneida. They treat their fighters first class. I love fighting for Combat USA. Combat USA or UFC wouldn't want to fight for anybody else. But back to Oneida, yeah, they treat the fighters like all champions, from the rooms to the fight. It just makes you feel good as a fighter when you can fight in an atmosphere such as Oneida Casino. So
sure.
I'm very privileged to be part of this.
Absolutely. Well, March 5th, we'll be there again, and you will be fighting.
Yes.
And you'll be fighting Whisper Goodman.
Whisper Goodman.
How do you feel about that fight?
I feel ready. There's a lot of mixed feelings. I guess I'm definitely underdog, which I have no problem with being. I like being underdog. It's more to me to prove, but really, it doesn't really matter who I fight. After coming off last year's devastating loss in the 4th round in the finals, it just ate away at me for months and months, and I'm just ready to go in and compete. I don't care who's in front of me. I know he's training hard, I'm training hard, so it's gonna be a good scrap. I'm very excited. So
yeah, I think that's gonna be a great fight. I think it's a good way for you to come back if you pull out the win, to say, hey, I am Will Dickey and I am here. I'm going to make this thing happen at 185 pounds. I'm definitely a force to be reckoned with. You were a force at 205. I can't even imagine what kind of force you're going to be at 185. I think Whisper's going to have his hands full in that fight.
Yeah, I'm just very privileged to fight Whisper. Very privileged to fight for Combat USA at Oneida. So I'm just excited. So you guys are gonna have to show up March 5th. See two great athletes go at it. So.
Speaking of two great athletes going at it March 5th, we got Nick Aguilar and Morgan Sickinger at 145 pounds are going to fight that night. The winner of that fight is going to move on to the state finals and fight Josh Cassie. What do you think about that fight? Let's start with Morgan Sickinger. Tell me what you think about Morgan.
Morgan comes from the same town as me. Love Morgan, personal friend of mine. Great athlete, very good competitor. But you know, his hands are kind of a little shaky. He's more of a ground guy. You know, he's a stud on the ground, but I think he's gonna have his hands full with Nick Aguilar. Like I said, Morgan's a personal friend of mine, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Nick Aguilar on this. Sorry,
Sure.
Morgan.
No, it's no offense. I mean, there's always there's always the underdog and the guy that's the seed to win. I think even Morgan himself would agree that seeded wise, Nick Aguilar's the guy that is supposed to win. But Morgan is confident that he's going to go in there and change something. He's going to go in there and change a lot of people's minds. I mean, when I was putting together this roster, I'm trying to figure out, okay, who do I have fight first and what do I do? And Morgan literally called me and said, I want Nick Aguilar first round. He said, give me Nick. And you got to give a guy credit. I mean, he's not scared. The kid's there to fight. He wants to make a statement. And what better way to statement than to go out first round, fight Nick Aguilar, and win?
Yeah, like I said, Morgan's a competitor, so I don't doubt you. He said that. I mean, Morgan, as the underdog, I think he has more to prove. So you got to watch out for those underdogs. I've been an underdog lots in my fight against Rob Smith for his title. Ended up beating him. Everybody thought I couldn't win. The underdogs have more to prove and nothing to lose. So you got to watch out for those guys.
And you just never know, Will. I mean, I've always liked you as a fighter. I've always thought you were an entertaining guy. I like your style. That Rob Smith fight's a great thing to talk about with you. I myself, going in that fight, had Rob Smith slotted to win. You proved me wrong and a million other people wrong. And that's what the beauty of the sport is nobody determines that but yourself. And anybody can sit there and say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, you go in there, you put your hands on a man, and you make him quit, you can shut everybody up. You shut me up on that one.
Yeah, that's the joy of fighting. It pretty much comes down to who wants it more. You know what I mean? And a fight can go either way. You know what I mean? You can throw a punch, it lands, you're out, it happens. So I'm very excited to see what happens between Morgan Sickinger and Nick Aguilar. But it's definitely going to be a great scrap for the first round, and
Sure.
A lot of people are going to be excited to see this fight. So
Yeah, well, Yeah, me too. Morgan's no stranger to Combat USA. He's no stranger to our format, what we're doing. Nick Aguilar, it's his first year in the tournament, but he took home a couple championship belts, or rings, diamond rings, and a bunch of cash to his gym last season. So this season, he said, you know what? He really wants to get back into the UFC. He thinks Combat USA is the platform to make that happen on. And he said, get me in the tournament this year, 145 pounds. I want to destroy, and I want to move up. So, Nick Aguilar is a very welcomed addition to the tournament this year. I think he's going to do a lot for Combat USA, and I think Combat USA can do a lot for him.
I agree with you, Adam. Nick Aguilar is a stud. He's a 23-6 record, UFC vet, just wrecked out. He probably should be fighting 170, but he's just a very great athlete. He's the leader over there in Racine. Got 2 state champions for Combat USA. So the guy knows his stuff. Morgan's gonna have his hands full, but at the same time, I hope Nick's not overlooking Morgan in the first round, because Morgan's one of those guys that you're gonna have to knock him out to put him away, because he will not stop. Because his work and his work ethic is just unbelievable. So I'm very excited to see that fight.
Absolutely, me too. This should be a good fight. Now let's talk for 1 second here about what happens if Morgan Sickinger wins and he meets Josh Cassie in the state finals. What happens there?
That fight right there is a chance for fight of the year right there. Josh Cassie, I have a privilege of knowing Josh Cassie on a personal level. He's my training partner right now. He's my striking partner, and the kid's just amazing fighter. I can't put it any other way. But Morgan, coming up, like I said, Josh is a striker. He's got ground game. Morgan's more of a ground game. Josh is a little more balanced fighter.
Sure.
He's been in the game a lot longer and real crisp. But they're both athletes. They're both competitors, and it's going to be an exciting fight. So
awesome. And now, if Josh meets up with Nick Aguilar in the state finals, what do you see happening there?
Man, and that fight could go either way. They're both, like I said, they're both studs. That is a fight. That is a great fight. That's pay-per-view right there. So we're just having the privilege to have it here in Green Bay at Oneida. through
That's
Combat
absolutely
USA.
right.
So
I think that's going to be an interesting fight. I think Nick is a big 45. He's strong. Josh is a small 45. Josh is extremely fast. He's got good footwork. Nick has got the experience. I mean, back and forth. I think Josh is probably the underdog in it. I think anybody would agree. You know, they're going to slot for Nick Aguilar to win that fight. But Josh Kassi will shock you. You know, you think you got something, and he'll pull something out of his hat, and bam, the fight's over.
yeah, that boy he never ceases to amaze me, man. He's just great athlete, great fighter, great friend, great guy all around, and his work ethic is just extremely, you know. So yeah, it's gonna be a great fight. If that does happen, that's definitely fight of the year in the making. So
Yeah.
we have to see how that goes. So.
Yeah, I think any website out there that's going to be doing Fight of the Years is going to have a very hard time. I know WisconsinCombatSports.com, they do it every year, and you know, I think they're going to have a hard time this year with all the beautiful matchups we got. How do you pick a Fight of the Year?
It's tough. I mean, way Combat USA brought this all together. Top fighters in the state. I mean, just the ring to it, you know. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Wisconsin Combat Sports. They definitely got their hands full. So we have to thank Combat USA for and yourself for giving us fighters the opportunity to prove ourselves on a different level. And I can't say how much, you know, I feel like I'm blessed just to be a part of something that's so great as Combat USA. So thank you and Combat USA crew for this opportunity.
Well, Will, you're doing it yourself, man. We're giving you the platform, dude. You're going in there and making it happen. Nobody can ever take that away from you at all. You got a bright future ahead of you, man. You're young, you're strong, you're in shape, you're making the right steps to advance your career. I think you've got a bright future ahead of you, man. So you know, kudos to you as well. Let's talk about the March 5th 145-pound lower bracket. We got two guys on there. We got Clay Conrad, his brother's Cole Conrad, champion for Bellator. So fighting definitely runs in his blood. This will be his pro debut fight. And you've got Nick Dupuy, who is on the brinks. He's 3-3 as a pro, and it's kind of one of those things where he's got to take home a win. I know Nick's a tough dude. I know Clay Conrad's got the history, so what's going to happen there, I don't know. But I think it's going to be a great fight. How important do you think this is for these guys?
Man, Clay Conrad, like you said, brother Cole Conrad, Bellator champion. Fighting does run in their blood. I actually had a chance to sit down with his brother in weigh-ins last year at finals, and found out he trains over there in Minnesota with Brock Lesnar. He used to be champ for UFC. So, I mean, they got a tough camp over there, and I'm not really sure about Clay's amateur record, but I know that he's won. I don't know how many he's lost, but I know he's a real tough kid, and it's one of those things where he looks up to his brother. I mean, you got an older brother, he's a Bellator champion, you know. You want to be just like your older brother, you know. So I feel like, you know, he's got a lot to prove, and it's going to be exciting to see that guy work his way up in the rankings.
Cool. And Nick Dupuy's going to try to stand in his way and stop him.
Yeah, Nick
We'll
Dupuy. Yeah, I don't know much about Nick Dupuy. I know that he's 3-3. He's a tough kid. I just hope that he takes this opportunity, you know, that Combat USA gave him to the fullest. So we'll have to see. You know, he's got a little bit more, just a little more pro fights than Clay does. But it should be a good scrap. So I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. These are definitely fighting to advance, and that's what this is all about. But let's take this time to thank our sponsors, as I always do. You know, these guys are out there. They're making it happen for the fighters. They're making it happen for us. Without sponsors like you out there, there's nothing we can do. So thank you very much, and we'll be back in a minute.
You're going to be a great champion. There we go. Beautiful. Take him down. Take him down. There we go. It's all about fundamental. You take down one to the center.
Enjoy an adventure filled with thrills and fun. Oneida Casino offers guests the excitement of first-class entertainment with non-stop casino action and the luxury of the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center.
Try your luck at slots and a variety of table games, plus high-stakes bingo, poker, and off-track betting.
Visitors to Oneida Casino will never go hungry, no matter what you're in the mood for.
Watch the area's best live entertainment free in the Oneida Casino Lounge.
Oneida Casino.
Fun is our game.
Combat USA Fighting Championship, March 5th, Oneida Casino. 23-6 UFC vet Nick Aguilar versus 2010 finalist Morgan Signature. 21-7 James Warfield fights submission artist Gary Bivens. Former Packer Whisper Goodman fights 2010 finalist Will Dickey. Knockout artist Tim Holland versus Madison's own Tony Rook. Plus 4 additional professional fights. Saturday, March 5th, Oneida Casino, Green Bay. Combat USA Fighting Championship. Visit CombatUSA.net or Facebook.com/CombatUSA. Get tickets at CombatUSA.net.
Welcome back to Combat USA. We are MMA. I'm sitting here with Will, the franchise Dickey, 2010 state finalist at 205 pounds. Now you're at 185 pounds, here to make some things happen. Now, talking about this last season and this season, there were some months there where you were gone. You weren't. Nobody saw you online. Nobody saw you in fights. Nobody saw you. Period. Real quick, what was going through your head there?
Well, Adam, pretty much, I just had to find myself as a fighter again. I just had to get away from all the glamour and, really figure out what I want to do. Was fighting what I wanted to do, because, you can't really. What I was doing was putting half and half. You can't do that. You got to either be in 100% or not fight,
Sure.
And I took those 3 months to really figure out who I was, and I'm a fighter, and that's what I do, and I'm just here to, shock the world. So I feel like those 3 months really helped me out a lot, and I feel blessed to get the second opportunity at something as great as Combat USA.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, Will, we're excited to have you back. I think you found yourself 100% correct in saying that you're a fighter, because I truly believe you are. I think you're a fighter through and through. And I think that's why you find yourself on the top of the tabloids, on top of the rankings, on top of everything you touch in MMA. You find your name there, and you see Will Dickey. It's MMA, guys, is such a crazy thing for these guys. You can get caught up in it all so fast. I mean, you're a fighter. This isn't other sports where it's it's a team sport because you train team-wise, but when you're in that cage, it's you and you alone. And when people come up want to shake your hand, they want to shake your hand. They don't want to shake your whole team's hand. And it's easy to get caught up in that. And Will, you're a perfect example of sometimes you just got to separate yourself from it. Say, you know what? I need to reevaluate where I'm at. I need to reevaluate my focus, put it back in drive, and let's go kick some butt. And I think that's exactly where you're at. And I think it's going to be exciting to see what you do with the newfound Will Dickey.
I am too. So thank you, Adam, for the opportunity in Combat USA. I feel blessed. So
thank you, man. You're the one out there putting on the show for everybody. I'm just giving you the avenue to do it. So let's talk a little bit about Josh Kassi. We'll take a look at him. We're going to throw to him and see some of his training, see what he has to say about his last fight, a 19-second head kick KO. I mean, that's got to be every fighter's dream. He's got to be happy with himself. So
yeah, so Josh is a stud, and congrats on his 19-second KO. Like I said, training partner, lovely guy. He works hard, so very proud of him. Great job, Josh.
Let's take a look, Josh. So I'm in here with Josh Kassi. We just got done watching one of his workouts, watching him do some training and stuff with some new guys. Got a bunch of questions people have been wanting to know, so I'm just gonna sit down and ask you. First one, how do you feel now that the January 6th fight's over and out of the way?
Well, that's the first step, is getting, establishing yourself in the tournament once again. Had a lot of hype after the last year winning it, and people were expecting, the best out of me, and I was just glad I was able to deliver and do it in dominating fashion. So I'm glad it's over with. Now I can get to work and get another state title under my belt.
Right on, man. What are you doing to prepare for the Aguilar-Signature fight?
Training. I'm in the gym 5 days a week. I'm a full-time trainer here at the Combat Training Center, and even when I'm not in the gym, I'm in the gym. So I'm working hard every day. Got a couple things in the works right now. Going back to tap out. Not sure on the dates on that, but it's gonna happen. And with the training like that, I don't see any reason why I should lose any fight.
Great. What was another question that I had out there? I think people wanted to know what it felt like as soon as you landed that head kick and you knew you was going out. What was going through your head?
Well, the first thing I felt was a sting on my shin. First thing that went through my head was just pure amazement. I mean, I actually hit him once after he had already fell, but I've landed head kick before. It didn't get recorded against Floyd Hodges, but I have landed head kicks before with knockout power. And before I let Hodges get up, and I seen him out, but I still had to deliver that last blow before the ref was throwing me across the ring. And for the ref coming up on you doing one of these, that's the best feeling in the world. I mean, there's no other high like that. Like, get off him, he's done. leave him alone. So jumping out of the cage, I'm celebrating. I look back, he's twitching. I mean, it explains itself, guys.
Right on, man. Well said. Okay, so after the fight, you said Cassie is back. That's what you said into the camera after the knockout on the 6th. What did you mean by that, man?
Well, came off that loss to Chase Beebe, and people always, you lose once in MMA. That's all it takes for you to down and shoot you go. And I was letting everybody know that I am serious about staying here, serious about staying on top, and I'll say it before and I'll say it again, Josh Cassie's back.
Did you ever think 5 years ago you'd be standing here in a gym that you're running, full-time MMA fighter, full-time MMA trainer, not working for anybody else, doing your thing, Josh Cassie knocking out guys with head kicks, on all the tabloids, everybody knows who you are. I mean, did you ever think 5 years ago you'd be standing here with me today doing this?
Well, let me just say this. My high school yearbook voted me most likely to end up in prison, all right? So nobody even expected anything out of me, much less expected this out of myself. And I love surprising myself. I mean, when you can surprise yourself, you're doing something right, So I'm just real thankful for where I'm at, and I'm staying humble and not, getting too cocky. And I'm grateful for everything I have and everything that's been given to me.
Sure. How big of a thing is it has it been to your life, mixed martial arts? I mean, you say in high school you were voted number one to go to prison. Obviously, you were headed down some bad paths there. How has MMA changed that for you, and what in MMA made that change for you?
It's just hard work and dedication, man. You get these guys in here, and you can see when somebody's not working hard and giving you your all, and they'll call you out for it. And it builds character. That's hard work. If you're out there, smoking, drinking, doing all the drugs and everything, and you try to come in here and mix it up, you're gonna get schooled. And I learned finally, because I was going down those wrong roads with the alcohol and all that, and I had to give it up because this is the crowd, the fans. The fans are what did it for me and changed my life around. Now I'm getting into motivational speaking. I'm trying to get hooked up through My Brother's Keeper Foundation. I mean, I just totally, because if it wasn't for social workers and counselors and people like Mr. Sandoval here running these shows and helping out young kids like me, I mean, I would be lost. So I'm grateful, like I said.
Hey, I got a great question for you. A lot of people out there probably don't know this, but I want to hear what you have to say about this. Anthony Pettis' first fight was supposed to be against you.
Yeah, I was at that for sure.
And it got last minute changed, and your opponents got switched last minute. It was his first fight.
It would have been my second.
It would have been your second fight. It would have been his first fight. What do you think about that whole scenario?
I wish it would have played out the way it did, because me coming off my first loss, I trained like an animal for that fight. I've never trained like that, even to this day. I mean, every day I was they could have put a freaking 300-pounder in front of me, and I do truly believe, Anthony Pettis or not, he's a great fighter. I look up to him and everything, but I would have to say it would have been nice if I could have fought him, so that way I could walk around now saying, yeah, I fought him, I beat him, this and that. But I came in underweight. My partner came in overweight, so we ended up having to make a switch quick. I was going from 55 down to 45. I fought Alex Wong in that fight. Went in there and beat the brakes off him bad. And Anthony Pettis ended up getting a knockout over Tommy Earthpalmer, the guy, my first fight. So I think it would have been a completely different scenario, and it would have been something nice to brag about.
Sure. Yeah, that's a cool spin. Not a lot of people knew about that.
And plus, we got our start on the same promotion,
Yeah.
He started at the same time as I did, so that's why I know I need to step it up. I need to get around the right kind of camps, because if he can make it there that fast, I know I can. And now I got the knockout power behind me. I'm small in size, but big otherwise, so look for me to bring it.
Right. Now, that first fight I gave Anthony Pettis, you were there. Did you see that fight?
Yeah.
You watched
knocked
it?
him out of the ring.
What'd you think of that fight? Did you know that the kid was a stud at that point, or did you think he was going to go where he went, or?
Just by first looks, you see a lengthy guy and like his form and everything, and like me being around MMA, I just started getting around the game. But you can tell when somebody, is all about their game. And I knew Earthpalmer was in trouble, and it's just from the beginning, he didn't even fight back the whole time. It looked like he, got in his head a little bit with the whole switching opponents, because I remember he was a little iffy about doing it, but it had to be done because the weights were off and we just wanted to make everything legit. So he got hit a couple times and kind of tucked tail. I think he got dropped with a leg kick, right? Or body kick?
No, I think it was just straight, like 10 punches right to his face.
Well, anyway,
he went down,
I know
went through the ropes.
Yeah, at the time we were fighting in rings, and
Yeah.
he flew out the ropes, and I was like, in amazement. So
He got his nose broke.
Yeah, there's blood.
Yeah.
I got some pictures from that night, scrapbooks, so.
Yeah, if you can dig through our Facebooks and things like that, you might be able to find that old footage of Anthony Pettis' first ever fight, and that would be cool. But
What was that, Gladiators fighting in Oshkosh?
it was in Oshkosh. It was the first event I ever held in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So we just got done taking a look in the world of Josh Cassie, the gym, his mentality, where he's at, and he's a tough guy, dude. Kid scrapped everybody. I think you said it best. A lot of guys are out there fighting. How'd you say it?
Yeah, a lot of us guys coming up, we're used to fighting like UFC vets, WC vets, and we're real happy. Like, yeah, I beat a UFC vet, but Josh, he's the type of guy that any fight you put in front of him, he'll take, and him fighting the ex-world champ WC just says it all. I mean, Josh is a stud. I'm really excited to watch him come up in the ranking, and like you said, he has a very bright future in this, and couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, he's going to do well. Exciting kid to watch, and I can't wait, whether it's Nick Aguilar or Morgan Sickinger, I can't wait to see who he fights in the state finals for Wisconsin. And then move on to fight potential rematch with Chase Beebe, WC world champion. What an opportunity for Josh.
Yeah, Josh, everything that's coming to him, man. Just very proud of him. Everything that's coming to him, he deserves. So, yeah. Good for Josh.
Yeah, he's worked hard for it. Good to see you, Josh. Well, let's go to one more commercial break. Before we come back, we'll get to know you a little bit more, Will, and then we'll also check out the technique of the week.
4-Ounce Fight Gear, official sponsor of Combat USA. Developed for the fighters, by the fighters. Engineered specifically for today's top MMA fighters. It's not what you want, it's what you need.
That's what I need.
This is what I need.
For more info, check us out at 4ouncefightgear.com.
Bringing it 4 ounces at a time.
Combat USA Fighting Championship, March 5th, Oneida Casino. 23-6 UFC vet Nick Aguilar versus 2010 finalist Morgan Sickinger. 21-7 James Warfield fights submission artist Gary Bivens. Former Packer Whisper Goodman fights 2010 finalist Will Dickey. Knockout artist Tim Holland versus Madison's own Tony Rook. Plus 4 additional professional fights. Saturday, March 5th, Oneida Casino, Green Bay. Combat USA Fighting Championship. Visit CombatUSA.net or Facebook.com/CombatUSA. Get tickets at CombatUSA.net.
Welcome back to Combat USA. With me, Will Franchise Dickey, 2010 state finalist, looking to be 2011 champion at 185 pounds. And it's good to have you here, Will.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Like I said, it's a blessing to be here, and I wouldn't want to fight for anybody else but Combat USA, so thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Let's take a look at that technique of the week. I think it's very important. You see more and more people cheering for groundwork because more and more people understand it. It's people like John Freeland and little clips like this technique of the week that help people get there. So here it is, technique of the week.
Hi, I'm John White Trash Freeland from NutriGround Academy in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm here with Tyler. Today we'd like to show you the omoplata and one of the more common applications of it. We're going to start where he's in my guard from a triangle, from a regular triangle choke, and he's put his arm to the outside to keep these arteries open here. It's a good move on his part to stop me from finishing, the actual triangle, but now he's kind of out of the pot and into the fire here. When I see this nice cue here for the omoplata sweep, both my legs now are going to come in the direction of his head. If I want to hook his leg to get there, or grab his butt, or under his thigh, you can do that. But you're going to try to get your legs towards his head to the side, like this. So I'm in line with his head. Okay, from here, I'm just sitting up, doing a stomach crunch to keep pressure on his arm in between my leg and my stomach, like this. Now the worst thing you can do here is kind of sit up and adjust and let his arm pop out. Once his arm's there, keep your stomach right to your thigh. Turn your outside leg back, grab a hold of him over his shoulder, under his armpit, and now take your hips forward. Okay, I'm attacking his rotator cuff with my legs. So, all right, making sure, of course, you always get your abs right up against your arm, or I'm sorry, against your leg, and putting your head to his head. That's the omoplata.
So there you are, your technique of the week this week, the omoplata, phenomenal submission. What do you think about that move?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Omoplata is a great technique. I think every fighter should know it, and if you see a fighter pull it off, they definitely know their stuff. So
Yeah, it's not an easy one to pull off, but when you see it, it's a sweet move. So put that one in your memory banks there, guys. So now let's talk to you. I want to talk a little bit more about you, Will Dickey. You know, you are one of those guys who, you know, just like you said about Josh, is willing to fight anybody. You're willing to fight anybody. You fought UFC veterans. You fought a lot of tough fights, man. You're one of them guys who's not scared to get in there and mix it up. And when we brought you back in this tournament, you found out your first fight was going to be Whisper Goodman, and you didn't even flinch. You said, let's do it.
yeah, I feel like myself, you know, I'll fight anybody. You know, it's got me in some troubles, you know, with my sometimes, you know, before we're fighting. But you know, I think every fighter should think that you know, you shouldn't take easy fights, because if you want to make it to the next level, there's no easy fights. So you might as well prepare yourself. Yeah. You know, so yeah, I'll fight anybody, and that's the way I am. So can't change that.
Well, you definitely will fight anybody, and you're going to fight Whisper Goodman first. Let me just get a couple quick sentences from you. What do you think about this Whisper Goodman fight? How's it going to go down?
I think it's going to be two athletic guys going at it. It's going to come down to who wants it more. Whisper's very athletic, you know, great striker, great conditioning, but I think I got a lot more to prove. So, you know, I'm just training hard, and with the thought of last year's finals still in the back of my head, driving me every day, it's going to be a good scrap. So I'm very excited. I'm
excited for this fight, Will. This is one of those fights that I just can't wait to see. You know, I'm always excited to watch you fight. It's just the way it's been. It's probably the way it'll always be. I mean, and apparently I'm not alone, because you've got one of the largest fan bases in Wisconsin. I think more people come to watch you fight, and when you fight, you hear more Will Dickey chants and screams, and the crowd gets electric when you're in there. So obviously I'm not alone. A lot of people like to watch you fight. You've got a very tough fight ahead of you, Whisper Goodman. Very game opponent. And if you win that fight, you go on to fight Gerald Meerschaert. What do you think about that? State finals, Gerald Meerschaert.
Gerald Meerschaert, he's a great all-around fighter. I think he's really progressed in the last couple of years. I first met Gerald down in California at the Ultimate Fighter tryouts, and we just clicked right away. Got a lot of respect for him and his gym over there in Racine. So, you know, it's going to be a good scrap. He's a friend of mine on a personal level. He's a good friend of mine. So, but when you lock us in the cage, friends don't matter. So, let's do this.
You'll be friends after the fight.
Yeah, definitely.
Friends after fight. And that's what's so cool about this sport is, you know, you always hear people say, oh, it's a brutal sport, or it's this or that. You know what? You guys have got more class. I mean, you guys go in there, you do your thing. You can be sitting on top of a dude, punching him in his face, choking him unconscious, and 20 minutes after the fight, you can catch you guys in the after party, you know, at the casino lounge, you know, high-fiving and talking about, you know, what's happening next. And that's what's so cool about you athletes is the way you guys handle this in your class. So that's definitely something that I think more people need to recognize about mixed martial arts and about these athletes that are out there putting it all on the line. They're not doing it out of anger. Of course, you've got your grudge matches, the people you want to fight and the people you're upset with, which, I mean, I think everybody out there knows somebody that they'd like to fight. But 9 out of 10 times, man, it's a sport, and these guys are out there to entertain, and that's exactly what you guys are doing. You're entertaining, and you're doing a great job at it. What do you think about you fighting Gerald?
It's kind of mixed feelings. He's a well-balanced fighter. You know, so the fight could go either way. You know, it's a fight. I can't really stack up the odds against one or the other. But you know, I got to make it through Whisper before I start talking about Gerald. So Whisper's first on my list.
Whisper's first on your list. And how long do you predict that fight going?
Anything could happen. Like I said, I'm ready to go all 3 rounds. But if I knock him out 10 seconds in the first round, kudos to me. So let's do this.
Right on. So. Awesome, Will. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a pleasure having you here. We've got much more we're going to see from you out of the year, I'm sure of it. You've got big fights ahead of you, all tough opponents. I think you're ready mentally. I think you're ready physically. I'm excited to see you get in the cage. Anybody out there in the computer world that's not ready to see this guy get in the cage with Whisper Goodman, you're absolutely nuts. You know nothing about mixed martial arts, and that's just all there is to it. This guy's good. He's exciting. I can't wait, and you should be in the same boat. Combat USA, check us out on Facebook. It's Combat USA. I'm sorry, let me repeat that. It is facebook.com/CombatUSA and CombatUSA.net. You can get tickets, you can get event information, you can see videos, pictures, you can follow all the actions, hear what the guys have to say. And Will, you got a Facebook or anything that you want to throw out?
I do. Will Dickey at Facebook.com. Just look me up. I got all my fights. Got all my pictures up there, so I add everybody. So thanks for the support.
Will Dickey's a fan favorite, and for a good reason. We'll see you guys later.
Combat USA, bringing you MMA looking state to state for the top 8 here on Prime Time, putting it all on the line for this one chance, for this one moment to